Act as if your time has come. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. Let every breath you take be a silent affirmation that the moment you have prayed for, longed for, and wept for is here. Let your imagination feast on the vision of it, and let your soul begin to wear the feeling of arrival. You are not waiting anymore, you are stepping into what is already yours by divine right. No doors need to open because in your mind they already have. No permission is needed because you've already been crowned by the unseen forces that orchestrate the movements of this universe. When you close your eyes, you are not escaping reality, you are selecting it. What you choose to dwell upon becomes flesh. Do not wait for evidence to believe. Do not look for signs and wonders to validate your worth. You are the miracle in motion. Assume the state, inhabit the scene, and walk forward as the embodiment of the answer to your own prayer. Your time has come, not because someone told you so, not because circumstances aligned perfectly, but because you have dared to assume it. There is a sacred power in bold assumption. To walk as though you have already arrived is to declare to the universe that you are no longer available for delay. You are no longer entertaining doubt, hesitation, or fear. You are no longer compromising with the version of yourself that was stuck in waiting. The clock no longer holds dominion over you, because you have risen into the eternal now, where all possibilities unfold at your command. This moment is not empty, it is full of the life you have already claimed inwardly. Act as if your time has come, and you will feel the weight of waiting begin to lift. You will notice the subtle shift, the way people speak to you, the way you carry yourself, the way unseen doors begin to creak open. This is not coincidence, it is law. You are meeting the world on new terms, and the world is responding with a reflection of what you now believe about yourself. You are not becoming successful, you are success wrapped in skin. You are not hoping for change, you are change incarnate. You are not dreaming of love, you are walking as the beloved. When you move from the state of the wish fulfilled, you don't chase, you attract. You don't beg, you command. Not with arrogance, but with the quiet certainty that you are aligned with a power far greater than circumstance. You know that every outcome, every connection, every blessing is already arranged and scheduled. You are not lost, you are being guided. You are not overlooked, you are being positioned. You are not delayed. You are being prepared to stand in a moment so divine, it required your complete inner readiness. And how do you become ready? By acting as if you already are. Not pretending, not performing, but embodying the feeling of the end as if it were already now. You walk different, you talk different, you pray different, you wake up with gratitude not for what might come, but for what already exists in the unseen. You no longer wait for the evidence of your eyes, because your inner vision has already seen enough, and what you have seen within you shall hold in your hands. Your time has come. Let every word you speak agree with that truth. Let every decision reflect the confidence of someone who knows they are right on time. Walk like the doors are already open. Speak like your destiny is listening. Think like heaven is rearranging itself just for you, because it is. You are not late. You are not early. You are precisely where you must be, because you have finally decided to see yourself not as someone trying to arrive, but as someone who has. The world bows not to your struggle, but to your certainty. So act like it. To live from the end is to place your consciousness at the destination before your feet ever touch the path. It is to reject the illusion of delay and dwell in the certainty of fulfillment. This is not about waiting for something to happen. It is about becoming the embodiment of the result before it reveals itself in the physical world. When you live from the end, you are no longer concerned with how things will unfold. You are no longer tied to external signs to confirm your inner conviction. You simply know, and in that knowing, you rest. Most people live toward the end. They strive, push, and hustle, thinking the external achievement will validate the internal desire. But they are caught in a cycle of separation, always chasing what they believe is outside of them. They believe that only once they get the job, the relationship, the healing, or the recognition will they finally feel complete. But this is backwards. The law of consciousness says that the feeling must precede the form. What you feel is true now, regardless of evidence, becomes your future experience. When you dare to live from the end, you plant your flag in the unseen and walk as if you've already arrived. To do this requires imagination, not the kind used for fantasy, but the kind used for creation. You must see the invisible as real. You must rehearse the feeling of success, the feeling of peace, the feeling of joy, before any reason to feel it appears. When you close your eyes and imagine yourself already being what you wish to be, and feel it in your bones, you shift something far more powerful than any action can accomplish. You alter the frequency of your being. And the world, bound by spiritual law, must echo back to you that same vibration. It cannot do otherwise. This is not delusion. This is creation. You are not fooling yourself, you are forming yourself. You are not pretending to be something you are not. You are claiming the truth of who you already are. You are not looking at yourself through the lens of the past or even the present, but through the lens of what is possible, what is true in the realm of spirit, and what has already been accomplished in imagination. And imagination is not weak. It is the womb of reality. Living from the end is the highest form of trust. It says, I don't need to see the harvest to plant the seed with confidence. It says, I am already the person I desire to be, even if no one else can see it yet. It is the quiet power of assuming the crown before the throne is visible. When you walk as though your time has come, you stop asking for things in desperation. You begin thanking for them in certainty. You stop pacing, worrying and fearing that you've missed your chance. You begin to rest, not in inaction, but in faith. You take steps not to arrive, but because you have already arrived within. There is a profound difference between acting to get something and acting from already having it. The first is motivated by lack. The second is rooted in abundance. When you act from the end, your decisions change. You no longer choose based on fear, you choose based on alignment. You don't settle for less, because the version of you who has arrived would never do that. You don't speak defeat over your life, because the version of you who succeeded would speak from power. You don't beg for validation, because the version of you who lives from the end walks in quiet confidence. Every great transformation begins in the unseen. Every victory starts in the imagination. Every healing begins in a vision of wholeness. Living from the end is not optional for those who desire true change. It is the foundation. The mind must go there first, and the body, the circumstances, the opportunities, they follow like shadows. The world outside cannot help but reflect the dominant state within. If you continue to imagine yourself as waiting, you will wait. If you see yourself as struggling, you will struggle. But if you live as if the prayer has already been answered, the answer will manifest. The greatest mistake is to think you must earn your future. You don't earn the future, you accept it. You don't strive to deserve it. You align with it. When you feel it real within, when you walk in that state daily, you collapse the timeline between desire and manifestation. You don't rush the process. You remove the illusion of separation, and when you truly dwell in the end, you are no longer disturbed by the middle. You understand that the middle cannot threaten you, because you know how it ends. You know the story you have chosen to write, and no character, no twist, no delay can stop the fulfillment of that script. The world may not understand you. They may see your confidence as arrogance or your certainty as foolishness, but you must not look to them for confirmation. Their disbelief is not your burden. Your belief is your power. When you live from the end, you stand as one who has seen the mountaintop, while others are still wandering in the valley. Do not come down to explain. Do not shrink your vision to match the eyes of those who refuse to see. Remain where you belong, in the state of having, in the state of being, in the state of now. It is now that matters, not one day, not when things change, not when the bank account grows or the partner arrives or the pain subsides. Now is the only creative moment. And to live from the end is to bring the feeling of then into the present. You draw it in like breath. You carry it like fragrance. You let it color your thoughts, your posture, your attitude, and you do not waver. You return to it daily. You protect it from doubt. You water it with faith. You guard it like treasure, because it is treasure, and it will, without question, become visible in time. But you don't wait for that time. You live it now, because the end is not something you reach. It's something you choose to become. The outer world is not the cause of your inner state. It is the reflection of it. Everything you encounter, every circumstance you experience, is a mirror showing you what you have accepted as true within yourself. This is the foundation of all conscious creation. To understand this is to reclaim power that has been unknowingly handed over to the world. When you look at life as happening to you, you become a passive participant at the mercy of conditions. But when you understand that your inner reality shapes the outer, you become a conscious creator, no longer reacting, but directing. To claim that your time has come and to act from that claim is to assume a state of being that the world must eventually match. The outer cannot help but arrange itself to reflect the dominant tone of your inner world. And this is not something to be hoped for, it is something to be trusted as law. The unseen is the origin of the seen. The inner world of thoughts, assumptions, and feelings is the true birthplace of every future moment. What you entertain consistently within will crystallize as events, people, and outcomes. But most live as if the outer world is the authority. They observe conditions and then adjust their feelings. They see lack and they feel unworthy. They see delay and they feel forgotten. They see rejection and they feel unloved. This is living backwards. This is handing the steering wheel to the reflection, hoping it will suddenly drive you somewhere new. But the truth is, you cannot fix the mirror by rearranging the reflection. You must go to the source, the inner image. If you do not revise your self-concept, your assumptions, your emotional posture, then no change in the outer world will last, because the world will always return to what you believe is true of yourself. To declare my time has come and mean it is to reshape the world from the inside out. You are not trying to convince others. You're not trying to manipulate reality. You are simply dwelling in the truth of what already is within you. You are tuning your inner vision to a frequency that the world must respond to. Like a magnet, you attract that which harmonizes with your inner state. And this attraction is not about effort, it is about resonance. You become the thing you seek, and then it comes to you, not as a chase, but as a recognition. This is why two people can live in the same world and experience entirely different realities. One may walk in despair while another lives in joy. One may see only barriers while the other sees possibilities. The difference is not the world, it is the lens through which they view it. Your lens is your assumption. Your assumption is your world. When you walk in the conviction that your time has come, you begin to see evidence that aligns with that belief. Opportunities begin to show up. Conversations shift. Energy rearranges. What was once invisible begins to reveal itself. Not because it suddenly existed, but because your inner vision became clear enough to perceive it. You must understand that the world is plastic to your thoughts. It molds itself according to the images you persist in holding. If you persist in imagining yourself as overlooked, you will continue to live in situations that echo that belief. If you persist in seeing yourself as chosen, favored, and aligned with divine timing, you will begin to experience a world that reflects those assumptions back to you. It is not superstition, it is structure. The world is not punishing you, it is obeying you. This realization can be both terrifying and liberating. Terrifying because it removes excuses. You can no longer blame the world, others, or fate. But it is liberating because it puts the pen back in your hand. You are the author now. The story changes when you change your script. And the most powerful script you can live by is the one that says, "This is my time." Not just a sentence, but a state. Not just a declaration, but a dwelling place. You must speak to yourself not as someone waiting to become, but as someone who already is. Your internal dialogue must match the outcome you desire. Speak to yourself as one who has already arrived. Let your thoughts be soaked in the feeling of fulfillment. Let your imagination build the scenes of success so vividly that the world has no choice but to follow. This is not madness. It is mastery. You are not escaping reality, you are shaping it. And shaping begins in silence, in solitude, in stillness. Not when the world is clapping for you, but when no one is watching. That is the sacred place where power is formed. You go there not to escape, but to create. You close your eyes, and instead of repeating the past, you select the future. You see yourself not as one hoping for change, but as one who has become the change. You rehearse the emotion, the thoughts, the posture of that new version of you, and then you return to life. Not as the old self trying to shift the world, but as the new self allowing the world to respond. There is a quiet authority in someone who knows their time has come. They do not panic. They do not strive. They do not explain or defend their vision. They simply walk in it. Their steps are aligned. Their energy is clean. Their decisions are not rooted in fear or people-pleasing, but in clarity. They know that they have entered the state, and therefore the result is inevitable. The outer world has no choice but to confirm what the inner world has already decided. Even in moments of resistance, when circumstances seem unchanged or even contradictory, the one who knows their time has come does not flinch. Because they are not watching the world for permission. They are not seeking validation from delay. They are not negotiating with time. They are living from the unseen, knowing that the seen is simply catching up. They don't need to rush the process because they know they are already in it. They don't panic about being overlooked because they are already seen by something higher. They don't worry about missed chances because they are aligned with perfect timing. You do not get what you want, you get what you are. And what you are is the state you most consistently dwell in. So make the state of it is done your home. Let the vibration of arrival be your atmosphere. Let the conviction that your time has come be your daily garment. Wear it in thought, wear it in speech, wear it in action, and the world, like a faithful servant, will reflect your assumption with precision. This is not just philosophy, this is law. And law, when understood and applied, cannot fail. Faith is not a matter of words. It is a matter of feeling. It is not something you announce with your mouth while your heart trembles in uncertainty. Faith, when truly understood, is not about waiting for the right time or watching for the right sign. It is the deep inner knowing that what you have imagined is already yours. And because it is already yours in the unseen, faith is not passive. It is not the quiet resignation of someone hoping for a miracle. It is the bold act of someone who has already accepted the miracle as fact. It is the state of being that says, I know who I am and I know what belongs to me. It does not ask, will this happen? It proclaims, this has already happened within me. When you act as if your time has come, you do not do so blindly. You do so because you have felt it first. Feeling is the secret. Feeling is the evidence of faith. If you have truly assumed the state, then the feeling of it is already present. And that feeling becomes the substance of your reality long before the world catches up to reflect it. Faith is not the absence of fear. It is the mastery of it. Faith does not need reassurance from the senses. It creates a world beyond the senses. To live by faith is to live by the inner knowing that the world cannot see, but must eventually obey. The mistake most people make is believing they need to wait until something changes to believe it is possible. They hold their dreams at a distance, always speaking of them in future tense. One day, it will happen. If I'm lucky, I'll get there. But such statements betray the absence of faith. True faith moves the dream from the future into the now. It relocates the imagined event into the present moment and allows you to feel it with such certainty that there is no room for doubt. And where there is no doubt, there is no delay. The world responds not to what you beg for, but to what you feel you already have. Acting as if your time has come is the greatest demonstration of faith. It is the ultimate declaration that you believe in the unseen more than in the temporary appearances of your current situation. You may have no money, yet walk with the composure of someone wealthy. You may be alone, yet feel the fullness of companionship. You may see no opportunities, yet speak like doors are swinging open. That is not delusion, it is divine intelligence. You are calling things that are not seen as though they were, because you trust the unseen more than the visible. Faith is not fragile. It does not need approval. It does not rely on popularity or external support. It is quiet but unshakable. It is still but full of force. When you truly believe, the world can mock you, delay you, even reject you, and yet you will remain immovable, because your trust is not in the world. It is in the power that designed it. Faith does not come from seeing miracles. It precedes miracles. Faith creates the conditions for the miracle to emerge. And when you walk in faith, you become the evidence of it. Your very life becomes the sign others are looking for. This is why you must act, not from a place of waiting, but from the posture of receiving. You do not wait to feel confident. You decide that confidence is your native emotion. You do not wait to feel chosen. You walk as the chosen one. You do not wait for permission to believe your time has come. You feel the truth of it, and then everything you do flows from that feeling. Your conversations change, your reactions change, your habits change. Not because the world has changed yet, but because your inner world has undergone a complete shift. When you operate from faith, you begin to notice the small shifts that confirm your assumption. Not massive breakthroughs, but subtle alignments. People showing up with information, a random message that stirs your vision, an opportunity that seems tailor-made. You see, faith activates divine orchestration. The universe begins to move on your behalf, not when you ask for it in fear, but when you move in confidence. You cannot be both in waiting and in receiving. You must choose. And once you choose to feel as if it is done, you release the pressure, the anxiety, and the obsession with outcome. You enter a flow that cannot be disrupted by delays or detours. Many spend their lives trying to force reality into alignment. They chase outcomes, manipulate circumstances, and exhaust themselves with effort. But faith operates on a higher plane. It bypasses the need for force by aligning with the source. You do not have to make everything happen. You simply become the version of yourself for whom it has already happened, and in that becoming, the world reshapes itself. Your environment will shift. Your relationships will transform. Your body, your mind, your finances, all of it will begin to align with the frequency you've been feeling. It is not enough to say, I believe. You must feel it. The feeling is the access point, and you must return to it daily, not just once, not just when you're inspired, but as a practice, as the foundation of your being. Wake up in the morning and feel the reality of your time having come. Walk through your day with the vibration of fulfillment humming within you, and when doubts whisper, don't argue. Just return to the feeling. Drown out the noise of fear with the music of certainty. You are not waiting for your season. You are living in it, now. This is why you must no longer treat faith as a backup plan. It is not your last resort, it is your first authority. Let it lead. Let it shape your language, your mood, your posture. When someone asks, how do you know it's your time? You answer not with evidence, but with presence. Because I've already felt it, you say. Because I've already lived it within. That is the unshakable ground on which your new life will be built, not on conditions, but on conviction. Not on waiting, but on walking. You will know your faith is real when you no longer ask when it will happen, you simply know it already has. You are no longer searching for signs. You are the sign. You are no longer begging for direction. You have become direction. You are no longer rehearsing the pain of the past. You are living in the victory of the now. Faith is not merely believing in possibility. It is embodying the result before the result becomes visible. It is not wishing. It is being. And when you are being, the universe responds without hesitation, because you have stopped acting like a beggar and started acting like the rightful owner of your destiny. There is a profound shift that occurs when you stop asking and start thanking. The moment you transition from pleading to gratitude, you cross the boundary from lack into abundance. You move from the energy of separation into the energy of fulfillment. Gratitude is the language of the fulfilled state. It is not the response to what you've received. It is the evidence that you have already received it in the unseen. When you say thank you for what is not yet visible, you declare to the universe that it is already done. And because you declare it as done, you step into alignment with the version of yourself that has already obtained it. People often pray from a place of absence, from a place of worry, fear, or anxiety. They cry out, hoping that their desire might be heard, hoping that something or someone outside of them might intervene. But that cry, if rooted in the feeling of lack, only reinforces the state of not having. The universe responds not to your words, but to the frequency behind them. It reads the tone of your soul, not the volume of your request. If your asking is laced with doubt, the result is more waiting. But if your thankfulness is saturated with certainty, the result is manifestation. To act as if your time has come is to live in a state of constant thankfulness, not for what might come, but for what already is. You don't need to see it in your bank account, in your body, or in your relationships. You see it in your inner vision, and that's enough. You wake up with gratitude on your lips because you are not hoping for the promise to arrive. You are walking in it. You are the one who knows. You are the one who has seen. You are the one who has already touched it in the realm of imagination. And because of that, you walk with the calm assurance of someone who has no need to beg. This shift to thankfulness changes everything. It alters your posture. Your energy becomes attractive, magnetic, calm. You don't walk into a room needing validation. You walk into it carrying presence. You don't reach for what you want in desperation. You simply let it come to you because you know it already belongs to you. When your inner dialogue moves from please let it happen to thank you, it already has. You collapse the separation between desire and realization. You merge the two into one seamless experience of being. And in that merging, you become the bridge through which the unseen flows into form. Gratitude is the sign that you trust the process. It shows that you no longer need to see it with your physical eyes to believe it's real. Your faith has evolved into knowing. You're no longer performing for the world, waiting for applause or confirmation. You are quietly anchored in a place beyond explanation. And it is from that place that miracles unfold, not as random acts of kindness from the universe, but as natural consequences of your state of being. What you are thankful for becomes your reality, because you have made it real within. You can't fake this gratitude. It must be felt. It must rise from the center of your being like a song. It's the kind of thankfulness that brings tears to your eyes, when there's nothing yet in your hands, but everything in your heart. It's the thankfulness that keeps you grounded when nothing outside makes sense, but your spirit is settled. This is not blind hope. It is clear awareness. You know who you are. You know what belongs to you. You are no longer waiting, you are preparing, and your preparation is your worship. Every time you say thank you in advance, you are rehearsing your arrival. You are walking through the door before it opens. You are embracing the outcome before it manifests. You are telling the universe that you don't just believe in the promise, you have already received it in your inner sanctuary. And once you've received it inwardly, it's only a matter of time before the world has to catch up. Gratitude, then, is not a reaction. It is a creation. It is how you mold your reality. It is how you speak to the unseen and invite it to take shape. People who live in thankfulness don't wait for miracles, they live in them. They don't treat blessings as surprises, they expect them, not with arrogance, but with quiet reverence. They have learned that to thank before the gift appears is the mark of one who understands how creation works. They have realized that their time has come not when the world changes, but when their inner atmosphere shifts from longing to having. And in that shift, everything else moves. People respond differently. Opportunities flow. The impossible bends. If you find yourself doubting, if you find yourself slipping back into questions and uncertainty, return to gratitude. It is the quickest way to realign. Sit quietly and feel it. Speak it aloud if you must. Thank you for this vision. Thank you for this breakthrough. Thank you for this relationship, this abundance, this peace. Don't analyze it. Don't second guess it. Just thank. Let your gratitude build until it overrides the noise of fear. Let it become your baseline emotion. When you do this, you rise. You rise above time. You rise above evidence. You rise into a state of divine certainty. This is the secret of those who seem favored by life. They are not luckier. They are not more deserving. They have simply learned to feel their blessings before they appear. They know how to dwell in the mood of completion. And that mood, that vibration, is what calls the unseen into form. When you stop asking and start thanking, you speak the language of answered prayer. You stop sending out signals of absence and start radiating the presence of what already is. And what you radiate, you receive. You can feel it now. Close your eyes and picture your greatest desire fulfilled. Feel the joy, feel the ease, feel the freedom. And now simply say, thank you. Let the words come from your soul. Let them carry weight. Let them be the proof of your faith. In that moment, you are no longer a seeker, you are a receiver. And as a receiver, your only job is to stay open, stay aligned, stay thankful. Because when you live in the spirit of gratitude, you're living in the spirit of completion. And there comes a moment when you must stop allowing the present to dictate the terms of your reality. You must stop reacting to what is and begin creating what will be. The present moment as you see it with your senses is not the full story. It is only the echo of past beliefs, past assumptions, and past inner conversations. What appears now is not the evidence of who you are becoming. It is the reflection of who you were. So, if you continue to use the present as the standard for what's possible, you will forever be trapped in a loop of repetition, never accessing the transformative power that lies within you. When you act as if your time has come, you are not ignoring the present, you are transcending it. You are no longer a slave to what you see, hear, or experience externally. You begin to govern yourself by a higher authority, your imagination, your vision, your inner truth. You understand that what is happening outside may look stagnant, but what is happening inside is dynamic, powerful, and alive. And eventually, what is inside will override what is outside, because the inner state is the true cause of all things. Most people are conditioned to look around them and use the world as their measure. They see closed doors and believe opportunity is lost. They see silence and assume nothing is working. They see the absence of signs and think they've been forgotten. But this is a misunderstanding of how creation operates. The external is always the last to arrive. The inner conviction must come first. You cannot wait for the world to confirm your belief. You must walk in your belief until the world has no choice but to submit to your assumption. This is why you must stop reacting. When something unfavorable happens, don't let it shake you. Instead, use it as confirmation that your old self is unraveling. Use it as a sign that the shift is occurring beneath the surface. If you continue to react in fear, anger, or discouragement, you feed the very reality you're trying to escape. But if you respond with calm, poise, and unwavering confidence, you begin to train the universe to respond to the new version of you. You show life that you are not the same, and therefore life cannot treat you the same. It takes discipline to create beyond what is. It takes spiritual maturity to see through the illusion of delay and lack and hold firm to your vision. You must be able to see abundance when your account is low. You must feel chosen when others overlook you. You must embody peace in the middle of chaos, not because you're denying the facts, but because you're anchoring in truth. The facts are temporary, the truth is eternal. And the truth is, you are the one who gets to decide what comes next, not based on appearances, but based on intention. Creating beyond the present is not fantasy. It is faith in motion. It is imagination wielded as a tool of transformation. It is the act of selecting a new reality and living from it until the world reflects it back to you. When you operate this way, you will notice how the present begins to lose its grip on you. The things that used to trigger fear no longer shake you. The opinions of others begin to lose their weight. You walk with a quiet authority. Not because you have all the answers, but because you've made a decision about your destiny. And that decision becomes your compass. It guides your responses, your thoughts, and your energy. You no longer allow the temporary to interrupt the eternal. You don't give setbacks the power to rewrite your story. Instead, you continue to move with the rhythm of fulfillment. You speak in the tone of victory. You rest in the knowing that your time has come. And every delay is simply a setup for greater alignment. You stop reacting to what hasn't happened, and you start creating what must happen by becoming the person for whom it already has. This requires consistency. You cannot waver between faith and fear, between vision and doubt. You must choose. And once you choose, you must reinforce that choice daily, not just with your words, but with your state of being. Carry yourself as one who is already living the result. Breathe like someone who has already broken through. Think like someone who already holds the prize. When you make this your standard, life begins to rise to meet it. Circumstances bend. People adjust. The impossible begins to soften. But it won't happen while you're still reacting to the old story. As long as you respond to life as if you are still waiting, still hoping, still uncertain, you reinforce the delay. You give life permission to treat you as someone who doesn't yet have it. But the moment you shift into creation mode, the moment you say, "This is who I am now," the universe listens. It responds not to what you want, but to who you are being. So be the person who has already crossed the threshold. Be the one who no longer begs, but commands. Not with force, but with presence. When the present tries to pull you back into fear, remind yourself that it is only the echo of who you used to be. It has no power unless you give it your agreement. You are no longer reacting to shadows. You are creating light. You are no longer feeding the past with your energy. You are planting seeds for a future that already exists in spirit. And those seeds will grow, not because you strive, but because you stay. Stay rooted in the vision. Stay faithful to the feeling.